Ladies and gentlemen, this is the new Maruti Suzuki Brezza, and of course it comes with a lot of new things, including the design, lot of new features, lot of new tech, a new gearbox, but it also comes with a new price list. And a lot of you have already been telling us and discussing this with us on social media that the Brezza has really gotten a lot costlier than the outgoing model. So is it worth it? And that's exactly what we'll find out over the next few minutes. What does this new Brezza offer? And most importantly, is it worth the new price or not? Now let's kick off with the design first, and this is an area where the new Brezza has got an extensive update. It's no longer just a nip and tuck job like the previous version was. This one is a new model, and like you can see, it's a different design. It's got a very nice sleek front, this new grille with the chrome elements, and of course this darkened out piece looks very good. The LED DRLs, again, it's a dual stack theme, looks good, looks sporty and dynamic, and the rest of the bumper, even the lower part of the bumper, has been done in a very sporty manner. This grille especially helps accentuate the width of the car, and as a result of this, the new Brezza now looks a little wider than it actually is. So if in terms of dimension, it hasn't changed that much compared to the older model, but it looks considerably wider now. Even on the side, the changes are pretty good. You've got these new nice looking 16-inch alloy wheels, and these give the car a very good dynamic stance, and they go well with the new tech and the digital positioning of the vehicle. Move further back and you can see that the overall design is very clean. You'll not see too many lines on the body, and that's a good thing in a way, because the design already has enough elements to make it look dynamic, so it doesn't look overdone. It's a very graceful design, and that's what I've always liked about the Brezza, and this one continues in the new version as well. These new roof rails again look pretty nice, give the car a nice SUV character, and once you move back to the rear, you start seeing this character line here above the wheel arches, and this gives the vehicle a bit of a more dynamic stance and adds to the muscular appeal as well. Move to the rear, and well, this is where again, just like the front, there is a big change. The tail lamps are completely new and sleek in design. They look very good. In fact, I mean, it is up to one's imagination. To me, this looks similar to a pistol with a silencer, the part that glows up. So it's a very nice looking design, and the overall tailgate too has got the right amount of creases, the right angle, as a result of which the Brezza continues to look as a proper SUV, not a crossover like some of its rivals, but now it just looks a lot more expensive and a lot better. Alright, now let's talk about the cabin of the new Brezza, and that's where a lot of change has taken place. Now if you look at the cabin, well, first look and you'll instantly realize that compared to the older version of the Vitara Brezza, this one is completely different, and in fact a lot more premium. The dashboard gets a nice layered touch, and of course the material in between, well, this touch gives it a very nice tactile feel, and the material quality also of the brushed metal part is very nice, so that gives the cabin a very good premium effect. If you look at the infotainment screen, well, this is one major change, because you get a 9-inch infotainment screen, and this is similar to what we have seen on the new Baleno. So you get this 9-inch screen now, and it comes with a host of features. You get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, you also get over 40 connected features. So you can do a lot of stuff using your smartphone. In fact, you can also turn on or turn off the car. You can pre-cool the car when you want to undertake a journey, and you can locate your car and do a lot more stuff from the convenience of your home using your smartphone. The instrument cluster, well, it's that familiar Maruti instrument cluster where you have the digital MID screen in between, flanked by analog clocks on both sides, and I think it looks great, does the job well, and the readouts are easy, gives you all kind of information that you would want. The steering wheel, it's a flat bottom unit, nice and chunky to hold, gets paddle shifters. This is with the automatic. So with the automatic, you'll get the paddle shifters also, and you get the usual controls for the telephone as well as the MID on the steering wheel. So in terms of the layout and feel, I think the Brezza has undergone a big change, and all for good, because it just looks a lot more premium and a lot better than the earlier version. In terms of features, again, the Brezza has got a big upgrade. It is packed with features, and some of them are not just segment first, but some of them are first for Maruti itself. Well, the first time a Maruti is getting a sunroof, and it's an electrically operated sunroof. So this is going to be some really good news for Indian buyers, because for some strange reasons, Indian buyers do have a big fancy for sunroof. And there is also the pop-up HUD screen, similar to what we have seen on the Baleno. Again, this works fantastically well. The resolution and the display quality is brilliant, and you can see lots of information on it. You can customize it, so it kind of helps, because you do not have to take your eyes off the screen up to the infotainment screen to get that information. So again, I think this unit again does a brilliant job. In terms of features, you also get a wireless charging, which is again a first for Maruti. So this is again going to help people who like to have less of the wired clutter inside the cabin. So this is going to help in that respect. In terms of practicality too, again, the cabin does well. Lots of cubby holes, lots of space inside the door pockets, the glove box, all of it. Again, a lot of practicality and space. And so the front seat experience of the Brezza's cabin is definitely impressive. Now, although the Brezza is loaded with so many changes, keep in mind this is not an entirely new generation. It does not have a new platform. So this is still on the same platform with a lot of changes. That means not much of a change to the dimensions. And as a result of that, space is pretty much the same. And that's not a bad thing, because the Brezza was always a very spacious compact SUV to start with, and that continues with the new Brezza as well. With the driver's seat adjusted to my driving preference, you can see I'm 5 feet 8 inches for reference. I've got good knee room, I've got good leg room. I can easily slide my feet under the driver's seat. And the rear seat itself, well, it's a pretty decent seat. The cushioning is nice. I like the material here on the seat, so it sort of gives you a grip on your pant or on your dress. So that again helps you stay in place. And the under thigh support, I would say, again is decent. The backrest angle and the shoulder support is good. The adjustable headrests work well. You also have this cushion armrest here. So as far as space and the comfort of seating is concerned, I think the Brezza does a good job. Even for taller occupants, you can see there's a lot of clearance I have in terms of headroom. So even taller occupants won't have a problem in terms of space inside this cabin. So feature loaded, tech loaded, and spacious and practical. Alright, now let's talk about the driving experience of the new Brezza. And well, there's not a drastic change here. Of course, I mean, if you look at it from a Brezza perspective, there is a big change, but when you compare it with the inventory within Maruti, well, it is pretty much expected what you're seeing here. So this one gets a 1.5 liter, the new K series engine with dual VVT, and most importantly, it also gets the 6-speed torque converter automatic transmission. So that is for me, in terms of driving, the biggest upgrade, and the Brezza really needed it, because now with this new design and new features, Brezza's positioning has just gone up a notch. It's more premium, and with that kind of positioning, having an AMT or that old 4-speed torque converter gearbox, well, I think that would have been a disaster, but thankfully that's not the case. So here you have a petrol engine that develops about a little over 100 horsepower, and you can choose between the 6-speed automatic transmission or a 5-speed manual gearbox. No diesel like you would expect in Maruti Suzuki by now. And this one comes with smart hybrid, so that helps you save fuel. Trying to answer your question in terms of kitna deti hai, Well, the claimed figures are in the region upwards of 20 and close to 19 for depending on the variant you choose. But in our realistic driving conditions that we have been doing around Chennai, I think with the automatic you should be able to get, I think, around 14 to 15 kilometers quite easily in urban traffic. On the highway and expressway you should be able to get a bit more. And in terms of driving experience, I think the Brezza drives well. Like I said earlier, it's gone up in terms of positioning. It drives a little better now. The NVH insulation has been really turned out to be spot on, and as a result of that, the cabin experience is refined. It's smooth. The engine has adequate power, so right from the word go, it just moves along at a decent speed. And there is no lag. This is not a turbocharged engine, it's a naturally aspirated engine, so that's a good thing. You do not have to wait for the turbo to spool. The engine has been paired to both the transmissions in a very good manner, especially the manual transmission where you have to do a lot of work. So there actually the transmission is pretty smart, so you don't have to move around your left limbs excessively. So I think full marks to the engineers on that front. The automatic gearbox does again a good job. It's smooth, its shift points are precise, it's not too slow, it's not too quick, it's just about the right thing that you would expect for an urban SUV. It also comes with paddle shifters, so that's a good thing. If you want to take control of the gearbox, this helps you do that. In terms of ride and handling, I would say the ride quality is pretty much spot on. It's a comfortable car, and in terms of stability, again, it is pretty good. Getting up to triple digit speeds is not a problem in this vehicle, and you can easily maintain that. It does not feel nervous at high speeds. Braking is good. The steering input, I mean the steering pretty much in terms of feedback also, it gives you a decent amount of feedback. It's a quick steering, and couple that up with the fact that the Brezza does not mind taking corners at a high speed. It has always been the case right from the day one when the Vitara Brezza came out right till this model. This car doesn't hesitate going fast around corners. So if you are planning to have fun with it, you can pretty much have good fun with the Brezza. So in all, I would say it's a good car to drive, smooth, refined, hassle-free, and gives you the option of choosing between a nice automatic transmission or a manual gearbox. Alright, now before moving to the last part of this video, let's also talk about safety. Now safety has not been a topic which has gone down really well with Maruti Suzuki in the recent past, but coming to the Brezza, well, if you look at the previous Brezza also, it was one of the few Maruti Suzuki cars that has actually done well in terms of crash test rating at Global NCAP. And this continues with the platform and now gets added safety features. In fact, even the base variants in the new Brezza get ESP and the hill descent control, and the top variants of course get 6 airbags and a lot more other safety features. So overall, in terms of safety, I only see the things improving in the Brezza as a model. And coming to the pricing, well, this is something that a lot of you have already been talking to us about on social media handles, that the Brezza has really grown in terms of pricing. So is it too expensive? Well, that's one way to look at it, definitely. If you look at the top variant prices for the older model and compare it to the one now, it looks that this model has gotten a lot costlier. But you also need to factor in the amount of additional tech and features that have gone in. And when you put together all the features that the new Brezza comes with, that we have discussed in this video over the last few minutes, you will be able to make out that all variants across the range of the Brezza offer very strong value for money. And that is something that has always been the forte of the Brezza right from the day one, even when it was Vitara Brezza. And now when it's just Brezza, it still continues to offer brilliant value for money. So if you're out there looking for a tech-loaded, comfortable and a practical compact SUV, the new Brezza is definitely one of the best bets in the market.